All right.
Okay. Well, we're here with Maryanne Losasso, and she has agreed to do a stewardship Q&A with us today for you. So Maryanne, if you can start by sharing, a lot of people at church know you, but who you are and how long you've been serving at the church.
Sure. Thanks so much for doing this with me. I really appreciate your time in this. So I started working at the church in 1992. Actually, I was the first teacher hired to start the Mom's Day Out program. And so then eventually we grew that program to like 40 students in a couple of years. And then in 95, I was hired to work with Lynn Brown, and I was her associate director of the Center for Early Childhood Education, the preschool. And I did that until 2011. And that's when I stepped into the church administrator position. So I've been here a long time.
Yeah,
That is a long time.
that's awesome.
Wow. So what's your role in finance and stewardship for the church?
Well, in finance, I basically oversee all the finances for the church. So I pay all the bills. I make all the deposits. I maintain the general ledger. I do the payroll. I manage the expenses of the church. I think that's a really big part of it. I report to the finance committee, and I prepare all the financial reports on a monthly basis, and then the year-end reports. And I meet with finance every month, and we review the reports, and we just decide what's going to happen next with the church and the church's finances.
That's
And
a
with
lot.
stewardship,
Yeah.
and with stewardship, I work pretty closely with the stewardship committee. We meet early. Sorry.
No, that's perfect. Maryanne's phone goes off all day. Like
Yeah.
her desk is so busy.
And she has the coolest
Yeah.
ringtone.
It does.
Thanks. So anyhow, so with stewardship, I work closely with them. I work with them in preparing the stewardship campaign or the pledge campaign every single year. Every year, other than this year, we've always had some sort of an event, a dinner or something like that. So I've helped them prepare that. I receive all the pledges. All the pledges come through me. I manage the lists of people who are going to be receiving letters and follow-up letters, and I send those things out, follow-up emails. I make phone calls, and then I meet with the stewardship committee during the stewardship season, and I provide them with reports on the status of the campaign. I tell them how many pledges we've received, how much it totals, where we are, what we need to do next, and I give them a status report. And also we look at history too of past campaigns.
And Maryanne is one of those that it's all in her head too. Like,
Right.
it's like the stewardship committee can ask her like, hey, how's this going? And she can just do all these numbers. And I think, well, this percent will probably come in. And I mean, it's amazing what you keep in your head all the time. So
After 11 years, it stays in your head.
It's all there. So we're in pledge season, of course, right here at Maitland Pres. And, a lot of people ask us, hey, does it really matter if I pledge? I know I'm going to give, or what is a pledge? Can you talk some about pledging?
Pledging is basically you're making a commitment to the church that you're going to give a certain amount of dollars to the church, that you're going to financially support it that year. No pledge is too small or too large. I mean, but it really does help us when we are preparing our budget for the following year, for that year, to know, because pledged income is the largest component of our budget. So basically, when we are preparing the budget, we're always looking at pledged income. That's like the biggest thing that we look at, because that helps us to determine what we're going to spend, because we know that, this is a good way for us to project that we know we should have this amount of money coming in. I mean, we don't know, it doesn't always work out exactly. Sometimes we have less, sometimes we have more. But the thing is, it's a really good way for us to project. We need to have that information. It's vital. A lot of people, give, and they're like, well, I give regularly, especially a lot of our members who are now doing online giving, or if they're doing automatic drafts from their bank, that they've set it up on autopilot. They just, they're giving, and we appreciate that so much. That is so awesome, because it's always coming, it always comes in. And so they think, well, okay, I'm giving, so I don't really have to fill out that card. I don't have to, email. I don't have to do that. But in a way, it would be best if they did. It's the best, because then it's considered pledged income, and that's going to help us in projecting for the following year. what we need to do. If they don't, if it's not done, if they don't make a pledge, we can't really look at it as something, even though it could be coming every single month, it doesn't really tell us for sure. You know, we need to have that commitment. And so if you're going to give electronically, and if you know you're going to do it every single month, just let me know. You know, send me an email, send in a pledge card, whatever, because then it goes into the pledge category rather than in the non-pledge category, because that's the way our budget is set up. And like I said, the pledge category is the largest component and most important component of our operating revenues. So we need that information.
That's really important.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, a lot of people are nervous about pledging because they worry, like, what happens if I can't fulfill my pledge?
Right.
And like, maybe I shouldn't, just in case. But
Right.
that's not really that big of a deal, right? What happens if someone can't fulfill their pledge?
Like if they lose their job, let's say, and they've pledged,
Yeah.
what happens?
Nothing. They just can't pledge. I mean, they can't finish it. I mean, what can we do? We can't, you know, it's not like there's a collection committee or something
You're
like
not
that.
showing up on anyone's door.
No, I'm not knocking on anybody's door with my hand, like, come on, you have to pay me, you know, so that kind of a thing. So no, we don't do that. If you can't pledge, it's perfectly all right. And I have a lot of people who send me notes, or they'll email me, or they'll call me and they'll say, I'm going to give this much. If I can give more, I will. If I can't make this, is that okay? And I always say, of course, you do what you can. If you can't, it's fine. I mean, people need to pay their bills and eat too. So, I mean, you know, we totally get that. We totally recognize that and understand that. We are just so appreciative of anybody who makes a gift to the church, and, you know, and if they make a pledge to the church, it helps us in a great way.
That's awesome. So as people get ready to give, you know, there's all these different ways they can give. What are some ways you recommend if they're going to give money to the church? Is there one way that's better, or is there just any option that they want?
Well, basically, there's several different ways that people can give. I mean, years ago, it was through envelopes. You know, everybody came to church, they dropped their envelope in the basket. But we are living in a new world, and, you know, electronically, the wonderful thing, like I mentioned before about giving electronically, is you could set up your giving on, you know, an automatic basis, on a weekly basis, monthly basis, quarterly basis. You know, you can send us a one-time gift. Electronic giving, online giving in particular, it's so easy. You just go to the website, there's a give button on it, you click on it, and then you just follow the prompts and it walks you through it. A lot of people have also, they also give through their banks, where their banks send their checks on a monthly basis, just like you schedule your bills. If you're doing, you know, if you're paying all your bills online, you schedule a gift to the church online. So again, that's another way of doing it. You could just drop a check in the mail. You can drop cash in, like right now, I wouldn't put it in the mail, but in the basket, or you can use the envelopes. We still do envelopes. People think envelopes cost us a lot of money. They cost us $1.50 a packet. They're not that expensive. So if anybody really wants envelopes, I'm happy to get them for them. Just let me know about it. Give me a call or email me.
Any other
Great.
creative ways people can give?
That was-
I mean, off the top of my head, I think that's pretty much it.
online, text give.
Oh, IRAs. Wait. Let's not forget about the IRA required minimum distribution.
Oh yeah.
That's a really wonderful way. Every year, I think if you're over the age of 70 and a half, the government makes you take, they calculate a required minimum distribution. In other words, you have to take money out of your IRA, and you could either use it for yourself and then it becomes income and then you have to pay taxes on it, or you can send it from, you have your, whoever your financial organization is that you deal with that manages your IRA, they can send it, you can direct them to send it directly to the church. And if it goes right from your account to the church, then it doesn't go into your checking account or anything like that. Then you're not going to pay income tax on it. So a lot of our members are doing that because it's a benefit. They're saving money because they're not paying taxes. Plus they're able to, you know, give charitably, and they're able to give to the church and support the church. And it's a wonderful, wonderful way.
That sounds like
also
a win-win.
Yeah.
on both sides.
And you
That's
bring
what
up
you were getting
taxes.
at, Dave.
So
Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah.
Speaking of taxes, you know, all gifts are tax deductible to the church. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. And we do send out quarterly statements. Actually, I'm going to be sending out a statement probably next week, just so a year-to-date statement, just so that people will see where they are with their giving. And then we also will send out a year-end statement in January, so that will be what you'll be using for your taxes.
Okay.
But we do send them out quarterly. Now I email most of them, and then I mail the others.
So people might think, okay, I'm going to pledge this amount of money, but I know we have this long budget with all these line items, but what are the big categories that you see as the church invests its money? Like, what are we spending this money on as a church?
Well, we're spending the church, the money that people give gets put to so many wonderful uses. I think the biggest one is that we use it for mission outreach. We support 19 different organizations here in our community, and then also in the world. We support two missionaries. One's in Turkey, the other one's in Mexico. We support organizations in Nicaragua, in Haiti. We support various community organizations right here. There's 19 in total. And then mission outreach is what that budget is based on 10% of the previous year's pledged income. So it's a pretty big chunk of our budget. So we do that. We also need to grow our programs. How is the church going to grow if we don't invest in our ministries? So by investing in our ministries, that's how the church will grow. That's how we'll attract more people to the church. It pays our staff, of course, which is
we're grateful.
Yeah.
I'm a neat seat. Let's go. Let's pay the staff. And so it pays our staff, and then it also pays the bills. I mean, it pays for our expenses, and our expenses as time goes on, because we have such a large facility and because our facility is getting older. The Family Life Center now is 20 years old.
Wow.
So everything in that building is 20 years old. This year we had to change out 4 AC systems this past summer. From July through just recently through November, we changed out 4 AC systems in the Family Life Center, and we also changed out 1 in the education building. So I mean, that's just AC.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
And we have, I think throughout this campus, we have about 40 different systems. And that includes the little units that we have in the classrooms in the education building. It's those little PTAC type units. So it's a lot of AC that we're dealing with. And we live in Florida.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so easy to kind of get caught up in like that 90%, like all the different things we spend money on. But we have to remember that it's all mission. Like that our salaries and the air conditioning, it's all there so that we're on this spiritual mission as Christians, and that's why the church is here at all.
That's great. That's really great. Well, if someone does give, if they make a pledge to the church, how would someone, who knows how much people give? That's a question we get a lot. Like, if I make a pledge to the church, who's going to know that I gave and how much I gave? And is that confidential or is it public? Are the staff going to treat me differently because they know how much someone gives? Like, what's the protocol as a church?
Okay, the protocol right now for the church is that the only person who really knows what people give is me.
That's right.
So that is information that is kept confidential. And so it's between me and basically, the walls of my office.
Yeah, God knows.
God knows.
And God, of course.
Maryanne and God.
That's right.
Let's not forget God.
And people want to give wisely. They don't want to give to an organization. There's been bad stories in the media that are true about, shady things at churches and other places. So, what do we do to put people's minds at ease that everything's on the up and up for us? Like, for instance, people see our budget if they want to see it.
Yes. There's lots of oversight that the church has in place. So the oversight is that I report directly to the finance committee. The finance committee, every single month, I prepare reports. We review the reports. We, discuss some of the deviations or whatever. And if there's some, expenditures, we monitor. They look at every single line item. And I have to basically tell them if, like, 1 month, the budget for some building repair is this, and then we're $1,000 over that. I have to give them the information that supports those expenses. So they are very aware of what's going on, and then they report that to the session. And then the financial reports, once they were approved by session, are available for anybody who would want to see them. We used to put it when we had, the monthly newsletter, it would go in the monthly newsletter. And then now you're putting it in the daily email. So it's available. If people want to see it, they just need to ask. They can email me and I'll be happy to send them, whatever they want to see. It's totally available to them.
Yeah.
And that's big, that kind of transparency. And I know it's on the staff. Like if we spend $5 at Target on the church credit card, Dave and I too submit a receipt and we're like, this was for markers for a prayer event.
Yeah.
So Maryanne, are like every dollar, I mean, truly every dollar that's spent by the church is accounted for on who spent it, why it was spent, and what evidence do we have that's where it went. So that's wonderful.
Yes.
That's
No, and then that's, based on general accounting principles. So that's the way it should be done. And that's the way we do it.
That's great.
So this way there's no questions.
Yeah.
And we have our finance committee members we have our head of the finance is Dawn Reitmeyer. She's a CPA. Our other finance committees, they've all have some sort of financial, they have some background in finances, and they're great to work with. They're very supportive and they really understand what's going on here because they're so involved in the church too.
That's amazing. Well, is there anything else you want to share while we're here with our folks for Q&A on stewardship?
Well, if anybody has any questions, of course, they can call me at any time. The way our phone system works now, if it rings at our office and if we're not here, it goes to our cell phone. So, it's pretty hard. We usually are not missing any phone calls, or you can email me. I think the important thing is that this past year during COVID, which was, it was so unexpected. We had no idea that, we were going to be dealing with a pandemic. But the generosity and the financial support and just the support in general that the people of Maitland Presbyterian Church have given has just been overwhelming. It is like our pledged income, our non-pledged income, it's been wonderful. And it's because people, they care. They know that, that what we do here is for the glory of God. And they support all the ministries here of the church. And that type of generosity, at times when I see these gifts just coming in and I see people who haven't given before, all of a sudden they're sending gifts. And the notes that I get too, I think are so wonderful when they're thanking really you guys for the online services and how much it means to them to be connected through this crisis. And then the different programs that we're offering, like Bev Snyder and what she's doing, and the youth and the children's ministry, the fact that, some people have told me they like when we were just doing online, they stay and they listen to Vanessa because they really love her, what she was, the lesson she was giving to the children. So it's things like that that really have made this year, it made my job easier when it came to just dealing with expenses and things, especially because we did have some major building repairs that we just spoke about. So it really did make things I'm so grateful for that. It's so wonderful to see a community that loves and cares for its church, because the church is the people and its ministries. So I really thank you all from the bottom of my heart for the church.
Wow.
On behalf of the church.
Well, we are so grateful for you, for your ministry at Maitland Pres, and
for everybody who gives.
For everyone who gives to the church. What a blessing it is to serve in this place. And thank you for your time to talk about stewardship. So church, if you have more questions about finance and stewardship, Maryanne, this is the tip of the iceberg of the knowledge that she has about our church. So you can reach out to her anytime. Dave and I have made our pledge for 2021. We hope you will join us in supporting the work of the church. And we are here if you have any questions. All right. Bye, everybody.
Send us your pledges. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right.